Hello everybody, welcome to Deluxe Collectibles, and today we're going to be going over the brand new LEGO Ninjago and Hype collaboration clothing line that is going to be releasing on January 14th on the LEGO store website, and then on the 15th on the Hype website. And we have quite a few different pieces of clothing to go over in this video, and some other accessories as well, so we're going to cover all of that. I'm going to share my thoughts and opinions on them as well, and keep in mind this is an adult clothing line as well, so it's pretty exciting for older fans of Ninjago and ones who have grown up with this series. And there's quite a bit to cover here, so you're going to hear all of my opinions, and I want to hear yours as well in the comment section down below. So without further ado, let's get straight into it and start in 3, 2, 1. So there we go. We're going to come back here, and we can see that the first item here is a backpack, and I think that the backpack is pretty good. I should mention as well, the items are going to be Prime Empire themed, and then also Legacy themed as well, and I think that the backpack looks pretty good here. It's honestly a tiny bit of a messy design. I think it's just a lot going on here, and honestly, it doesn't really scream LEGO Ninjago to me. Unless you're really familiar with Prime Empire, that would really be the only way to kind of guess this. I feel like if just an average consumer saw this on like a wall of backpacks, they wouldn't be able to immediately guess that it's LEGO Ninjago. They might still pick it up because they think it's a cool design, which I honestly think it is pretty cool, but I don't know if it would exactly scream what it's trying to be, so I think that's alright. I feel like that's kind of the idea of this clothing line. You'll see as we go along that that's kind of the theme of it, and you can see a closer look here at the Hype logo, which is also a big theme that Hype loves to stick their logo on all of these items. So I mean, who can blame them? But still, it feels a little bit like there's a bit too much. But here we can see a look at Kai here on the side of the backpack, which I think looks pretty nice. I like the artist rendering there of Kai. I think he looks pretty good. A front look at the backpack there, which I think is pretty nice. You can see a ninja outline as well in the blue. I think that looks fine, but like it still just doesn't really scream Ninjago to me. And this next one here, now this one absolutely does not scream Ninjago to me, and it is a backpack here with basically just flowers on it. But if you look very closely, you can see Nia on the backpack, and honestly, I had a hard time spotting this, but you can see her on there, and she's basically just like, it's almost like they just grabbed an image of the minifigure, like an actual photo of the minifigure, not even a render or an artist drawing of it, but just a photo of it, and they just put it like randomly around this design. So I don't really love that. Here you can see an artist rendering of it, but that's not what all of them look like. So I think that's a little bit disappointing and a bit lackluster, and I'm just honestly not a huge fan of this design personally. Then the next one that we have here is more so a shirt right here, and you can see an outward look at it right here, or a zoomed out look at it, and I think it looks pretty good. Yellow isn't exactly my sort of color. I'm just not a huge fan of that color scheme, and I don't know if it really fits Nia too well. Later on you'll see a sweater with Kohl sort of design on it, and that one's yellow, and I feel like that fits him a little bit more appropriately. But for Nia, I don't really feel like this fits as well. I would have preferred a gray shirt or something like that, a little bit more toned down. So I'm not the biggest fan of this one. Once again, the Hype logo on there, but yeah, it's just not the most exciting thing in my opinion. Then the next outfit that we have here is the Kohl shirt, as I spoke about, and you can kind of see a zoomed out look at it here, and I think that this one's honestly alright. I feel like at least the yellow fits a little bit better here. I like the design on the side. If you're wondering what that says in the Ninjago language, it basically just says Hype over and over, so not too exciting. I think it says just Hype actually on there, but yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that. I mean, I get it, it's the Ninjago language, so not a lot of people are going to know it if they see you wearing this, so I mean, you could basically say that it means anything, but at the end of the day, for the fans of Ninjago, who are the ones I'm assuming would be buying this, I don't know if you exactly want it to be saying just Hype. At least it's a little bit more hidden because it is in the Ninjago language, but still, I don't really absolutely love that sort of concept. And then you can see a close-up look at Kohl here, which I do like the look of this. I don't think it's absolutely my favorite sort of artist rendition of Kohl, but I think that it does look nice, and I like the subtlety of it as well. That's kind of what this clothing line seems to be going for, is subtlety. They're not going to absolutely scream that you're wearing Ninjago merchandise, which honestly, I can see why they're doing it. It's an adult clothing line. You're not going to expect that every adult is going to want Ninjago just plastered right on their shirt, but still, I feel like if you're buying this, you're a Ninjago fan, and personally, I'd be totally fine with just having a giant Ninjago logo with all of the ninjas, so I'm a little bit disappointed by that, but still, I think this one's not the worst. Then the next one that we have here, you can see on the front side here, we have the Hype logo there, and it's just a nice black shirt. This one's honestly probably one of my favorite ones. I like the look of it. I think the simplicity is pretty nice with this, and then on the back, you can see a very nice design of a dragon here, which I am a pretty big fan of. I think this one's definitely one of my favorites, and one that I would consider picking up, probably not at full price, because I'm assuming these are going to probably wind up being a little bit overpriced, so I might wait a bit for this, but still, it's definitely one of the ones that I would consider. Then the next design that we have here is one that I'm kind of on the fence on. I kind of like the look of this, but it's also the colors that are throwing me off. I really don't like the choices of the colors here. I'm a very simple person when it comes to my clothing, and I like to have like just black shirts, gray shirts, kind of darker tones. I do like having graphics on my t-shirts. If you've seen any of my videos with me in them, you can probably see that I wear a lot of shirts with graphics from some of my favorite shows and movies, so I like having that. But with this one, I'm not a huge fan of how the white looks. I don't think it looks great. It kind of just feels like there's a lot of empty space on here, and almost like it was just randomly plastering on the ninjas' faces there. Now, I do like how the ninjas' faces look, like the way they're drawn. I think that looks fine, and I'm pretty sure the text once again just says just Hype on it, so not super exciting there, but still, I think it's an alright shirt. It's not the worst, but it's also not my favorite. Then the next one here is basically the same idea with just more ninjas' faces on it, and they're just a little bit smaller this time. Once again, nothing too spectacular, same color scheme as well, so I'm not a huge fan of that. Then the next one here, once again, they really love going with this white and red color scheme. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't mind the colors, it's just not really my sort of style, and that's what I'm kind of going off of here, is my own personal opinions here, and just kind of what I think of the designs just as a whole. Now, I do like the artist rendering here of, I'm pretty sure that's Lloyd on there. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong about that. Is it Lloyd or is it Kai? I am so bad at knowing my Ninjago symbols on the head, but basically, it's one of the ninja there with a sword, and I honestly do like how that looks. I think it looks pretty good there, and I like the rendering of that, but still, just a white shirt, it seems kind of simple, so I'm not a huge fan of that aspect of it. Then we get a closer look at it right here, and I do like how this looks. I honestly do like the look of that quite a bit, and I am pretty sure that's Lloyd because it kind of has the same sort of looking face there now that I can see it close up. But yeah, it's nothing spectacular, honestly, but it's still not the worst, I would say. Then we get another look at a different one here where they've honestly just kind of moved over the image, so I'm not also a huge fan of that. It feels like a very small variation. It would have been cool to maybe get a different ninja on the front of the shirt, but still, I suppose it's alright. Then the next item here is a nice, like, it almost, I don't even know what to call this type of shirt. I'm not really a clothing type of person, but it almost feels like a Hawaiian shirt, like just a very, not cozy, but like a very free-flowing shirt, I suppose. Let me know if you know the official name for this type of shirt, but I don't mind the look of this, but once again, it's that Prime Empire sort of design, and I'm not a huge fan of it, but I think that it works all right on this type of shirt right here, so it's not the worst. Then the next up here are some pants, and I think that the pants honestly look pretty good. I actually do like the look of these, and I don't mind as much having the Hype logo there and having it written in the Ninjago text as well. I think it looks alright and is pretty subtle on the pants there, and I don't think that pants need to exactly jump out at you, so I think it works alright here, and these are probably one of my favorite ones, and I think these would go pretty well with the black sort of shirt with the red dragon on the back, so I think those could pair up pretty nicely. Now, the next pair of pants that we have here are some bright yellow ones here with Kohl's logo on it once again, or Kohl's sort of design, and I think that these ones, once again, it just kind of runs into the problem of I think they're a bit too bright. I don't also like how this black and white and red kind of clashes with the yellow. I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't think it blends as well as with the sort of blackish gray pants. I am just not a huge fan of that, but honestly, if you wanted to try to cosplay as the guy from the Curious George sort of series, the man in the yellow suit or the yellow hat, you could actually wind up doing that with this clothing line, it seems like. So, a little bit too bright for me personally, but still, I assume that could probably go with someone's sort of clothing style. Let me know your opinions on the color choices. I really am curious to hear what are your kind of thoughts about all of that. Then the next item here is a nice little hoodie here. Now, I do actually not mind the look of this hoodie. I think this design with the ninja heads looks a lot better on a darker color scheme here, with them outlined in white. I think that looks nice, and the red just blends together together better with the black. So I think this one's probably another of my favorites. I think I've gathered up like my top 3 basically that are my favorites from this sort of clothing lineup. But then the next one here is just, you can see a close-up here of Nia right here. These are for like some boxer shorts or some swim trunks. I'm not really sure what they are. I assume they're like swim trunks or shorts that could be used for either thing, I suppose. But you have Nia there. You can kind of see her now close up there in the flowers. Once again, just not a huge fan of this. I don't know why there's like real fish and real stuff. It kind of reminds me of the Lego Ninjago movie more so, because they implemented like real life elements into that. So I'm not a huge fan of that, and I don't really think it works too well. Then the next pair here are the Prime Empire ones. Once again, just not a huge fan of these. You could probably tell there's a running theme. I'm not a huge fan of any of these designs, but I don't necessarily think they're bad. And obviously, any piece of clothing is going to appeal to some sort of person, and it might just not be me right now, so not a huge fan of that. Once again, Prime Empire just on a different sort of design here. Then we've got this one, which I don't think is really too bad. I like the design of the dragon here. I think it looks pretty nice in the white, and I like the white and black stripes as well going along there. And then on the front, I think this looks really clean. I like the zipper tag with the text there. I think that looks pretty good, so I do like this one. I think it looks nice. I like how the hype patch is on the left side there. I think that looks pretty nice, so it's kind of hidden out of the way. So yeah, I'd say this one's another one of my favorites. Now the next one that we have here is a red shirt, and I do actually like the look of this one, and it's mainly because I love how they have the ninja, all of their heads there, just kind of in a smaller form. It's not like leaping out at you like it's super large or anything. I like the look of that, and I don't mind how it looks on this red shirt. I'm not opposed to that sort of color scheme. Another of the shirts, or the back side of this one, I can't really tell. I think this might be the back of it. I like the text on the back side there. I think that looks pretty nice as well in the white, and yeah, I think this one's definitely an alright design, and it's probably one of my favorites as well, I would say. Then the next one here we have Jay, which once again, I don't know why they're putting the ninja in color schemes that are not their color scheme. I mean, why is Jay the one you choose to be on the red shirt? Like, why wouldn't you put Kai on this shirt? It just doesn't make sense to me. Jay is the blue ninja. Why is he not on a blue shirt? So I just don't really understand that, and I'm not a huge fan of it. And then it says just hype, which I'm also not a huge fan of. This one definitely looks the least sort of like, it kind of just looks like they plopped an image on a red shirt, so it doesn't look like anything spectacular. And once again, I don't really understand why Jay is on a red shirt. I mean, I get it, Jay can be on any shirt, any of the ninja can, but I feel like it would just work better if it matched up with their primary color scheme. Then the next one here, we have hype right there. Actually, I think that might be on the back of the shirt, so I think that looks pretty good. It's very simple. We have another look at Jay there on another shirt, and then the next one here is a t-shirt here with Kohl's design. Once again, I mean, you've heard my thoughts on most of these. They're very similar designs, just on different pieces of clothing, where it's a t-shirt, it's a long sleeve, it's a hoodie, whatever it is. I like the look of this. I like the text going through the middle of the dragon. I think that looks nice, and the little bit of text going around the neckline there as well, I think looks pretty good. So pretty nice, I suppose. I don't know. I'm very mixed on these, honestly. I would have to maybe see them in person. I don't know. I'm not a huge clothing person to start, so it's not like I'm really aiming to collect a lot of these. But we can see, actually, okay, this design might be my favorite one. I actually really like the look of this. And I'm pretty sure this one is Kai on the shirt right here. Yeah, I'm like almost 100% sure it's Kai. And I love this because he's in red, his primary color scheme there. And I really like the black here. I think this one looks very clean. I like the text going along the side of him as well. So this one's definitely, it's probably my favorite, honestly. If I had to decide what my favorite one is, if I could only get one, I like the look of this, and I like t-shirts as well, so I think that looks very nice. Next one here, it just goes downhill. I'm not a huge fan, once again, of the Prime Empire, and they just stuck on their hype logo right on the front, which honestly, I can't blame them. It's their company, of course, they're doing a collaboration here, but still, I'm not sure if anyone will be a huge fan of that unless you've been a prior fan of the company hype. And then this one here, I'm also not a huge fan of, with the flowers once again. Then this one's quite interesting. I don't know how to feel about this design, because once again, as you probably been able to find out from this video, I'm not a huge fan of white shirts here, and this one, of course, utilizes that, but I do like the way this Hype logo looks with the ninja all jumping across it. I think that's pretty nice, all in their suits there, and I saw someone point out it's kind of weird that Kohl doesn't have any sleeves on there. It's kind of a mixture of suits here, so it's a little bit weird in that sort of way, but I think that it does look nice. I'm pretty sure it's meant to be all of their legacy suits, and I think that doesn't look too bad. Then we've got Jay here. Once again, you know my thoughts on this. I think it looks fine on the front side, but the back kind of ruins it for me, honestly. And then the hat here, I mean, they seem to be a pretty big fan of Jay. I don't know if that's why they went with Prime Empire as well, but you can see Jay's face there on the top of the hat right here. I think it's very subtle. Not a huge fan of it. I don't really wear hats anyway. I like the way these sleeves look here. I think this looks nice. Jay, Kohl, and Kai right there in the middle of just Hype. Then we've got Nia, Zane, and Lloyd right there on the other sleeve. So I think that looks pretty nice. I actually don't mind this white shirt. I think this one's not as bad, but still, it's just not really my color scheme that I go with. These pants I'm not a huge fan of, even though they have a color scheme that I don't mind. I think they're a little bit too busy for pants. Seems something like more that you'd wear for like pajama pants. Then we got a backpack right here, which I think is honestly alright. I don't actually mind this design on the backpack, and I think the Hype logo looks fine on it as well. So I don't mind that one, and I like how they have the Lego Ninjago logo on the little bag tag there. I think that looks pretty nice. And that is actually it. Those are all of the different pieces of clothing there. So that's going to conclude this video here. I'm sure you can kind of tell from my thoughts here that I'm very mixed on this clothing line. I've watched a few other videos from other Ninjago YouTubers to kind of hear their thoughts and opinions as well, and they seem to be a little bit mixed on it as well. I just think that some of the designs are a little bit too, like, not Ninjago. It just doesn't feel like Ninjago for some of them, and some of them, granted, they do feel like Ninjago, but then others, it's just kind of tough to almost pick out where the Ninjago elements are coming in, and I just feel like some of the the color choices are a little bit weird with some of the ninja. I think that this just could have been done in a different sort of way, and I understand it's a collaboration between Lego and Hype, so there probably had to be some give and take between both companies, where maybe Lego wanted to go one way, but then Hype wanted to go another way, and of course Hype, the way they wanted to go was probably to put their logo on everything, which is understandable. Once again, it's how it's going to work, I assume. So I think it still turned out pretty well. I'm not going to say obviously it's a bad clothing line. I think it's actually pretty nice, and I'm sure it will appeal to the adult audience. If you don't want to have Ninjago just plastered on your shirt, it's a little bit more of a subtle way to kind of represent your sort of fandom or like love for Ninjago. So I like it for that aspect. There's a few different clothing pieces that I would probably pick up from this, but it just wouldn't be anything immediate because I assume this is probably going to be pretty costly, similar to the Levi's clothing line that they did, and then also the Adidas as well that they did. So I assume it'll be a little bit more pricey, which is with most clothing. But yeah, overall I would say it's a pretty decent clothing line, but it just didn't give me everything that I was looking for. But still, now I want to hear all of your opinions down below in the comment section. Be sure to let me know what are your favorite pieces of clothing that they showed off here, and which ones do you plan on picking up, and what would you have liked to have seen from this, or did they give you everything that you wanted? Are you a fan of these designs? It's going to appeal to different people's tastes, so I'm curious to hear all of your thoughts. So, but just thank you so much for checking out this video. I really appreciate it. If you did enjoy, it would be highly appreciated if you could leave a like. Also subscribe as well if you want to see my future content. So thanks so much. I'll see you all next time, and always remember, keep on collecting.